Okay, so here we are once again, NewYorkSteelo, with another video. And this time I'm going to give you my own personal review, unbiased review, based on the usage that I've given these pumps. And we're going to be reviewing the Ecotech Marine Vortech MP40w Generation 2. So the reason why I've decided to do this also is because I want to also discuss the importance of water movement in a marine system. Now, I'm going to tell you what I like about these pumps, and I'm going to tell you what I don't like about these pumps, because there's always the good and the bad. But based on the pumps that I used to run before, these pumps kick ass. That's all I can tell you. The pumps that I used to run before on my system were these pumps here. I actually had this Coralia wave maker with two Coralia 4s. It's not a bad system. They're rated at 1,400 gallons per hour each. However, this system lacks what this pump can do for you. Now, let me talk about what I like about these MP40s. First of all, you have different settings that you can go ahead and do. You have long pulse mode, which is the one that I'm running. You have short pulse mode, which can create waves. You have lagoon mode. You have reef crest mode, and I think that's it. If I'm missing one, doesn't really matter, because the one that I like to use is long pulse mode. The reason why I use long pulse mode is because what I do is that I try to replicate nature as much as I can. And I'm going to be using this anemone and to kind of show you what the water movement is in my tank. And by replicating nature, I believe that this is probably the best way to run these pumps. I am a big fan of the Discovery Channel, the HD Theater, the Science Channel. All of these channels which have these programs, Planet Earth, programs about the Great Barrier Reef, and I not only pay attention to the animals, I pay attention to the way the water moves, the rocks, the color of the rocks. So based on the water movement, which tends to be more swaying from side to side, I believe that this mode, which is called long pulse mode, is probably the best for a system. Now, what I have is that my two MP40s are at about 80% full power, and what one is doing is that one is going at 80% high speed, while the other one is kind of going at about a 500 to 1,000 gallons per hour. And then this one picks up and it's got 3,200 gallons per hour, while the other one is at 5 to 1,000 gallons per hour. So this is basically making this animal and every other animal in the tank kind of sway from side to side. I've got it set up in about 10-second intervals. So as you can see, the anemone is kind of like, there's so much water movement in the tank that these pumps are amazing. Now, the number one reason why I love these pumps is something called the undertow. Now, yes, they're 3,200 gallons per hour, full blast. But what I like about it is that the flow of water that's being pushed away from the pump is it's relatively wide, but it's so gentle at the same time that it doesn't blast the corals, as you can see here. But back to the undertow, what I really love about these pumps, and I can't stress this enough, is that because I have one on this side, half of the tank is basically a complete water movement. There are no dead spots. You can see this anemone being lifted by it. Why? Because of the undertow, like I said. Right now this one is at its slowest range, and you're gonna see when it picks up again, you're gonna see it based on the water movement on the surface. I'm gonna show you what the undertow is. There it is. The undertow basically is that because the pump is throwing water this way, water is being pulled from the top into the pump and from the bottom towards the pump. So there is no dead spots in the front of the tank, behind the tank. Every single animal, you can see this rose bubble tip anemone in the back is moving also. Now this is another reason why my fishes don't feel like they're in such a small tank, because they have to work extra hard to swim from one side of the tank to the other. But the fact that it has that undertow is what really, what it does is basically it shapes your sand bed to look like a wave. So you can see a lot of the little worms are popping out, because within about a week or so the sand kind of takes like a more natural shape. But let me see if I can show you when this pump kicks in that the sand is actually moving slightly. You can see it right there. It started to kick in. You can see the sand kind of moving, and this keeps my sand bed really clean. Now water movement is so important that I want to let you guys know that, in case you don't already know, that water movement in nature is 100 times stronger than what these two MP40s can offer. So, you know, I had a guy also tell me, oh, why do you feed, in one of my videos, he was like, why do you feed your tank while the water is moving? Why don't you lower the water movement so that your fishes can eat in peace? Let's be realistic here. In nature, these fishes eat with much more stronger water movement, and every time I shut off my MP40s to feed the tank, which I've done before, the fishes, what they do is that they hide behind the rocks. They're like, what in the world is going on with the water movement? So another thing that I like about these pumps is the fact that it brings these two wireless wave makers, so you can connect both of them and kind of have one doing one thing and then the other one doing the other thing. So what I don't like about this pump is the night mode feature. I can tell you that the night mode feature is pretty cool. You can set the night mode 10 hours. For approximately 10 hours it'll be on night mode. But when it's on night mode, what happens is that if you shut off the power to the pump and disconnect it from the outlet, you have to go again and set it again. It won't keep that as a setting, you know. So if every time I do a water change, basically what I'm trying to let you guys know is that I gotta shut off the Vortex, and to shut them off I gotta remove the power, and it won't keep the setting. However, there are new MP40s out there with these new drivers that even have a power button to them. So hands up to that. I just don't, you know, these pumps are about $420 a pop. Highly recommend them. They kick ass. They keep my water movement. And with that said, I just want to show you, by feeding the fishes a little bit, that undertow. You can see the undertow here. You see everything is kind of going towards the pump on the bottom, and there is just so much water movement. So yet another video. Thank you for watching. Any questions, comments, suggestions, hit me up on YouTube. More than glad to answer your questions. And thank you for watching. Peace.